This is John Colo with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, I'm going to show you guys more features and more things that the Nama C2 slow juicer and high-speed blender can do. If you guys haven't already seen the unboxing video, be sure to check my past videos where I do the unboxing video, so you can see and learn all about how I use the J2 in my kitchen to make a hot soup. I also have a video link down below to that where I make watermelon juice and why the C2 is my favorite juicer to make watermelon juice. And I also compare the Nama C2 to the Nama J2. Basically, they're the same machine, except the C2 comes with a whole additional blender carafe, and the motor is more stout, in my opinion, based on my testing. That being said, the thing that I like in my kitchen is that if I'm going to buy an appliance, I want the appliance to do multiple things. I don't want to just waste counter space on a single appliance that could only do one task or one job. That is why I love the Nama C2, so that when you buy it, hopefully, or not, you could do more than just one thing with it, and even more importantly, as I'm going to show today in this video, do things differently. So the amazing thing about the Nama C2 is that it gives you choice, because it is more than just a juicer, it is also a blender. And depending on the specific task at hand, such as today, we're going to be making frozen fruit sorbet, banana nice cream is what they call it, and nut butters, right? And you can do that two ways with the Nama C2, because not only do you have the juicing apparatus, you also have the high-speed blender apparatus. So I really want to show you guys the versatility of this machine to make nut butters and sorbets your way, instead of the way that you have dictated to you based on the machine you own. If you only have a blender, you can only ever make a whipped up, frothed up banana ice cream, which may be good to some, but some people will not like that texture. Some people will not like and enjoy swallowing air. Some people will not like enjoying, swallowing the banana sorbet that is more deeply oxidized. And that's where you can do it in the slow juicer attachment with the sorbet and nut butter attachment. Likewise, you can make nut butters, which I'll be showing you guys today. Actually, we'll be making the peanut butter two ways. We're then going to go ahead and make the coconut butter as well, because a customer asked me, John, can the C2 make coconut butter? I'm like, I think so, so let me try it. And then that customer also asked me, hey John, can the C2 make like cacao, chocolate bars? And so we're going to try that too. So we're going to see if all these work in the Nama C2 today. And then after we're done processing the nuts, then I'm going to go ahead and make the banana sorbet. Once again, two different ways, one way in the slow juicer attachment and one way in the high-speed blender, so that you guys could see the versatility of this machine, so you can make your food your way with the Nama C2. So let's get into this video. All right, so I'll be putting first the blender attachment aside, since we'll not be using that, since the first way we're going to make the nut butter is to use the juicer attachment. So to do that, we currently have the machine set up for juicing. So we're going to go ahead and take it apart, and very simply and easily, we're going to go ahead and remove the juicing screen with the wiping blade, and instead we're going to go ahead and drop in the sorbet and nut butter attachment. That is included with the Nama C2. If you do buy the Nama J2, this attachment is a $50 additional purchase. That's why I believe you guys should buy the Nama C2 if you guys are considering, because it just offers you guys a better value. Not only get the sorbet attachment, you also get the blender attachment. You also get about $80 in value in juicing and blending 101 courses. You also get a 5 and 14-day meal plan if you guys want to transition towards a plant strong diet, as well as, of course, you get the full 15-year warranty. And the blender is pretty much equivalent to a Vitamix from my limited testing so far and test data I have reviewed. And of course, the juicer components of the C2, you're going to get the same exact performance for the most part as the Nama J2. All right, so we dropped in the nut butter and sorbet attachment. Next, we're going to go ahead and drop in the auger. and we're going to put the top set on. Next thing we do is we're going to want to go ahead and pull out the little green flap. It may be black on some machines. This is best, and the way I encourage you guys to make your sorbets and nut butters when using the juicer attachment. Nama will say you do not need to remove this. To prevent backflow, I encourage you guys to remove it. It'll work just a little bit better. Then we're going to go ahead and set this up on top of the C2. And when we do, it goes to the juice mode and it flashes 0, 0, 0, letting you guys know it is ready. Next thing, we're going to go ahead and then put a bowl where the pulp comes out, because that is where the nut butter will come out. We're going to go ahead and then take our nuts. In it, I have basically 2 cups of roasted peanuts. We're going to go ahead and turn the machine on. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and dribble in a little bit of nuts at a time. You don't want to just load up all the nuts. You want to put a little bit at a time in. Let the machine process them, and then put a little bit more. As you guys can see, we're getting a nut butter. At first, you might get some kind of nut flour coming out. But then in a little bit, the nut butter will come out. It'll start to stick together and be a nice kind of crunchier texture nut butter. So as you guys can see, we got the nut butter coming out. This is like those machines at the health food stores, you know, that you could basically press a button and grind up nuts in front of you to make nut butter. That's essentially what the Nama C2 machine is doing right here. And I love that it basically auto feeds the peanuts in for you. And as you guys can see, this creamy and rich nut butter, peanut butter, is coming right out. Alright, so the Nama C2 easily processed all those roasted peanuts with the nut butter and sorbet attachment. We're just going to go ahead and scoop the rest out of here. And here we go. Just mash this down. And look at that, we have a nice, rich nut butter. I would say this is like more of a coarse texture. It like definitely sticks. It could stick to the bowl, as you guys can see. So that's one way to make the nut butter with the Nama C2. Next, let's go ahead and show you guys how to use the blending attachment to make nut butter as well. And I want to show you guys the differences. So to use the blender attachment to make nut butter, we're going to go ahead and take the blender attachment. We're going to go ahead and take the juicer attachment, take it off. We're going to go ahead and load up the blender with all the nuts. So we got the same 2 cups of nuts right in the blender. We're going to go ahead and then put the top on, take out the little piece in the middle, lock this in place, make sure it clips in place, and then we have the tamper that is included. We will need the tamper to basically push on the nuts as the machine is running. The next thing is to go ahead and put the lid on, and you want to leave the center cap off. Then you're going to go ahead and take your tamper, put that in place, and put that on top of the motor base. It'll automatically say blend. I think I set it up to the grain setting, which you can use to make the nut butters. And you're just going to press the start button and then use the tamper to tamp down the nuts into the blade as it's running. Alright, there we go. I processed the roasted nuts approximately 3 minutes, so I did 3 cycles. So you put it in the soup mode, that'll probably be better. That would just give you a 7-minute run time. Now I do recommend you minimally use 2 cups. I would say 4 cups would be better. My tamper barely hit the nut mixture when I was using only 1 cup. So if you use 4 cups, you would be able to get some better blade contact time and mash things in there. That being said, I really didn't need to use a tamper in this instance, but the roasted peanuts have a higher oil content. So depending on what nuts you are using, you may need to use, more nuts. So I would say maybe minimum 4 cups and use a tamper to help get them into the blades, because when the blades contact the nuts, it lets the oil out. So then that is what makes your nut butter. Very important. Something like macadamia nuts are going to be a lot easier to butter up than say something like the almonds. And of course, when you guys make nut butter, to make it a lot easier for the machine and you could actually just pour some oil in there. So if you're making almond butter, you can put some almond oil in there so you still have a single ingredient nut butter. If you're using some peanuts, you could use peanut oil to have a peanut butter. Likewise, or you could always just add olive or coconut oil if you don't have other nut butter laying around. So now I want to show you guys the results of using the blender attachment to make the nut butter. And look at that, guys. This is insanity. It almost pours, not quite. It is so thick, it is not pouring. Oh wait, it is pouring very slowly. Whoa, it's coming out. Look at that. This, guys, is truly creamy peanut butter coming right out of the Nama C2 blender. Let me go ahead and scoop all this out. As you guys can see, it's running out, and this is more of a creamy. And of course, we got more of the, coarse texture when we use the juicer attachment. All right, so there you guys have it, guys. Check it out, nut butter. This stuff is so creamy, it could roll out of the bowl here. And once again, if we put the spoon in this one, it doesn't stand up because it's just so creamy. This is results similar to what a Vitamix would do. But once again, with the C2, make nut butters your way. Whether you want it nice and creamy or whether you want it nice and a coarse texture and a lot more thick, easy to spread. It's not going to dribble everywhere. Or maybe the cool thing is you could take this and then mix it into there, and then you're going to have the crunchy / creamy, the best of both worlds. But once again, Nama C2 allows you to choose the texture and the way you process. I would say it was a lot easier to make nut butter in the juicer components because it was a lot quieter, number one, took less time. Although, you cannot complain about the creaminess of this. This took 3 minutes to make this nice, creamy nut butter out of the roasted peanuts. Amazing that the Nama C2 can do all this. All right, so you guys just saw how the Nama C2 can make the nut butters. We'll just throw those over there. Next, I'm going to show you guys another cool butter you can do, and if you only got the juicer, this task wouldn't really work, right? What we're going to do is we're going to process whole organic coconut shreds from Trader Joe's in the Nama C2 with the blender attachment, right? What you're going to find is that for certain tasks, one method may work better than the other. In my opinion, the coconut is not, it's an honorary nut, it's not really a nut. It would not really effectively work through the slow juicing attachment. It would make a very gritty coconut ground up stuff. It's not really going to stick together. And that's where if you have the blender attachment, then you could make coconut butter as creamy as the ones you guys would buy in the store for a lot less money, and you know exactly how it was processed. Of course, you could also store it under vacuum. Watch my other videos for that. To keep your coconut butter in the fridge for easily up to a year once you have it turned in the butter state under vacuum and kept cold. It'll easily store a year. So let me go ahead and show you guys how to do that. I mean, this is just super simple. We're going to go ahead and once again take the blender carafe, take off our lid. In this case, we have 4 cups, so that's probably the minimum recommended. I recommend for making nut butters in the blender. That would work better than the 2 cups I previously showed. We're just going to dump all these coconut shreds really loose into the blender carafe. What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and put the carafe on top. We're going to once again take our tamper. That's going to help push the coconut shreds into the blades. Put that on there, and I think we're just going to set this to, like, once again, the grain mode. Press the start button, and we're going to press this into the blades. Alright guys, check this out. This is absolutely insane. I want to show you guys what happened. So I processed it for 1 minute on the grain function, and then I just cranked it up to the max function, turned it on, and let it run an additional 4 minutes. So it had a total of 5 minutes of processing time. And let me show you guys the results. This is insane. Definitely got hot for sure. But let's pour out this. This is the coconut shreds now, instantly turned into coconut butter. You put this in the fridge, it'll harden up. There's no grains left. Guys, this is comparable to what a Vitamix can do, all in the power of the Nama C2. This is a liquid. The shreds turned into a liquid into an easily spreadable butter. All right, so check this out, guys. This is insanity. This is just totally liquid. Of course, put this in the fridge, it'll firm up really nice. Coconut butter like you never made before in the Nama C2. This blender is powerful, guys. Ran 5 minutes straight, no problems whatsoever. It was definitely pushing out some air, and it's still nice and cool to the touch on the motor base. Alright, so the final thing I want to do today is process cacao nibs. I do have a video if you guys want to process cacao nibs. The C2 is not the right machine to process it. I'm going to see if I can get away with doing it in the C2 today with my special recipe. But if you guys want to process cacao nibs, I encourage you guys to get a machine like the Nutri-Milk machine that is designed to make nut butters and nut milks commercially. It is a commercially designed machine. This is a home machine, but it is quite powerful, so we're going to put it up to some commercial style tasks. So what I have here today is 8 ounces of raw cacao nibs. Now we're not just going to add that straight. The issue is if you don't have enough liquid in the blender or the product you are processing, and in the case we did the nut butters, the roasted nuts have higher oil content than the raw nuts. The coconut butter has some of the highest oil content of any nut, except for maybe peely nuts and macadamia nuts, which are also high up there. The cacao, on the other hand, is a bit lower in fat content, so you could add some cacao butter to get it going, like half cacao butter and half the cacao nibs to get that to process. In this case, because we already have it, we're going to go ahead and use some of this coconut butter. That's a nice liquid, and that will help to get the cacao nibs that are actually quite hard to blend up. And what we're going to try to make is some chocolate bars. Or you could make like, a coconut cacao, butter spread. All right, so this is going to be cool. Let's go ahead and get this all set up. All right, so to process the cacao nibs, what we're going to do is we're going to take an equal amount of the coconut butter and put that into the blender. So in this case, we have 1 cup of cacao nibs. So we're just going to go ahead and pour out 1 cup of the coconut butter. So we got a 50-50 mixture right there. Let me taste this. Wow, that stuff's insanely good. So first we're going to go ahead and pour in the coconut butter into the blender. Next we're going to go ahead and dump our cacao nibs into the blender. Next we're going to go ahead and put the lid on. I don't think we'll be needing to tamper since we have a nice liquid from the coconut butter. If you don't have your own coconut butter, you could use something like coconut oil, or once again, cacao butter, which is basically cacao oil for the most part. And I'm just going to not screw around. We're going to go ahead and set this blender on the variable speed function, press the start button, and we're going to go ahead and let this blender go to town. Cacao nibs are quite hard, so you will need to let it run for a period of time, and I'll come back and show you guys the results when we're finished. We're going to go ahead and speed this up so you guys can see the processing happening on screen. Alright, so after 5 minutes, the machine automatically shut itself off. So let's go ahead and show you guys what we got. This is definitely warm, but check it out, man. This machine is powerful. Most blenders will not do this. They're going to croak. They're going to basically shut off. They can't run 5 minutes. I mean, I've done the soup mode in there that under 7 minutes. Oh my gosh, and look at this. We have like a chocolate liqueur coming out. Look at that, guys. Look at that texture, nice and creamy. This is insane. So you could use this, once again, you put it in the fridge, it'll harden up. But even better than that, what you guys could do is you guys could get these molds here. So I got these chocolate molds. And what we're going to do is we're going to pour some of this chocolate in the molds, and we could have basically a non-sugar sweetened chocolate just with the sweetness of the coconuts. If you wanted, you could add something like the date sugar in here, which is basically just ground up dates. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pour a cup. We're going to pour this out, and we're going to go ahead and put this in my freezer real quick. And by the end of this video, I want to show you guys the chocolate bar we made in the Nama C2 blender. So what are you guys thinking so far about the Nama C2 that allows you to process your plant-based foods your way? As you guys saw, we made the crunchy peanut butter that the spoon stands up. We made the peanut butter in the blender that the spoon falls over because it's more creamy. We made the cacao nibs blended with the coconut to make the chocolate bars that are still sitting up in the freezer, as well as the coconut butter, still nice and creamy here. Now the next thing I want to show with you guys is probably one of the most popular things to do in the Nama C2 or even in blenders is make what's called the banana nice cream. There's no cream or anything in this. It's just 100% bananas, and once again the Nama C2 allows you to do it your way, the way you prefer, you know. And that's what I want to show you guys right now. So we basically, I froze the bananas and I put them in a vacuum sealed bag and I sucked the oxygen out. So this will ensure the bananas don't oxidize as much as if you just put them in a, you know, tote or a normal Ziploc bag. Link down below to my Amazon shop where I do recommend these bags as well as the pump so that you can also store your frozen fruits to prevent the oxidative damage and prevent the nutrition loss and prevent the polyphenol oxidase from making your bananas turn brown. What we're going to do is, once again, we have the machine set up just like we did for the nut butter with the sorbet and nut butter attachment. Once again, this attachment is included with the C2, but an additional purchase when you buy the Nama J2. So we're going to process 5 of these bananas using the sorbet attachment in the C2, and then we're going to process the other 5 using the blender attachment so I could show you guys the differences between them. So the first thing is we want to take our bananas and we're just going to break them up into smaller pieces. You're going to take them out of the freezer and let them thaw a little bit, and all we're going to need to do is turn the machine on. I really love that this is a low and slow 50 RPMs. We're just going to break bananas up and drop them in the machine one at a time at a slow and moderate pace. You don't want to just dump them in all at once. When you do juicing, you can dump everything in all at once, but when you're doing the processing with the sorbet attachment, then you're going to want to put in things a little bit slower so that you do not overload the hopper. As you guys can see, this is a very quiet process, and as you guys can see, we literally got the banana soft serve coming right out of the machine as you guys watch. That's why I love the feature of using the blender attachment to make the sorbet, because it is ever so quiet and ever so easy. Just break the bananas and throw them in there. Alright, 3 bananas are down and only 2 more to go. This is going really quickly and easily with the Nama C2. Alright, last banana going into the Nama C2. Once again, letting this process and this creamy, delicious sorbet coming right out. Hey, this is kind of cool. If you spin this, it'll make it kind of look fancy as it comes out. Look at that. That looks really fancy. And then if you put an ice cream cone underneath here to catch it, that's really cool. It's so solid. It's frozen. Wow. Putting this spin on it, I've never thought of that before, but it looks totally amazing. Makes it look super fancy as all the banana and ice cream is coming out of the Nama C2 juicer blender combo. Alright, as you guys can see, it took maybe like 2 minutes or so to process the bananas into the banana and ice cream. We're just going to go ahead and cut that off and check it out, guys. Here is our banana and ice cream made with the C2 with the juicer attachment. Once again, it's nice and thick. Our spoon will stand up in it. So next, let's go ahead and change this out, and we're going to use the C2 blender to make the same banana and ice cream using 100% bananas. Alright, so now we have the blender attachment with the tamper. You will need to use a tamper, very important. And once again, we're going to take the other 5 frozen bananas that were in here, and the first step is we're just going to break them into littler pieces. That's going to make it work a little bit better in the blender. All right, now that we have these broken into pieces, we're just going to go ahead and dump all the pieces into the blender. Now, we formerly just processed bananas at a slow speed of 50 revolutions per minute, and this is why juicing is so good, because it adds little air into the mixture. When you're processing bananas in a blender, you're going to get a little bit different texture and also a lot more added air into it. So it's going to be more fluffy, it's going to melt faster, but it will have a different mouthfeel, and I don't know which one you guys are going to prefer, but whichever one you guys prefer, the Nama C2 can do it all. So on this process, we're just going to go ahead and put the lid on, and then we're going to go ahead and put the tamper in, and we're just going to go ahead, and I suppose I'll put this to the automatic smoothie function that runs about 1 minute. We're going to press this button on, and then we're just going to sit there and take the tamper and tamp the bananas into the blade. so that took over 2 minutes of me tamping them down and putting them in. I do not recommend processing bananas any less than 5 if you're doing straight banana. That being said, if you're adding a little bit of liquid in, you can do less than 5 bananas because you have enough liquid to keep it going. I don't necessarily like how the tamper is, you know, a little bit higher above the blade, so you need to add a little bit more to kind of get that action to get things, you know, pushed into the blades on the C2. Let's go ahead and see what we got. So we got some banana and ice cream here. Nice and cold. That's a perfect consistency. As you guys can see, that's what we got. It doesn't fall out because it's nice and thick. So we will need to use a spatula. All right, so that's what we got, guys. This is the banana and ice cream made with the blender attachment. As you guys can see, the spoon also sticks in there nice and firm. And the banana and ice cream made with the juicer attachment. Can you guys see the difference? Which one is lighter in color, right? The one made in the blender is lighter in color because it added in a lot of air. This is a lot more fluffy. The texture is more similar to like soft serve. Definitely has a nice consistency, kind of like the frozen yogurt machines. And then on the juicer, you guys can see it's a lot more hard pack, a lot thicker, more dense. Doesn't have all the oxygen added in there. Wow. That's definitely a different texture for sure. So here's the thing. Wow. So, okay, so here's to me and my trained taste buds of tasting all the creations I've made over the last 28 years. Like this one, you taste more of like a neutral flavor. I taste like the banana flavor. It just tastes really like soft in my mouth and like, not like ice, but like really kind of more thick. And when I try this one, it's a lot more fluffy, but to me has a tinge of like the oxidation. I don't know what else to call it. They taste different. You know, that's the thing. And I don't know which one you guys are going to prefer. What I'm going to tell you guys is the one I prefer is the one made in the slow juicer with the sorbet attachment because I don't get that kind of funky flavor. Plus also the way to make it in the blender was quite loud. You know, although sometimes you don't want to deal with all the juicer parts, you can just throw it in there and blend it up. But then maybe you're going to make a thick smoothie, right? A thick smoothie with liquid and banana, so it's really thick, but not this thick. So you don't have to use a tamper, right? Might be better in the blender. But once again, with the Nama C2, you get to make the sorbet your way, whether you use the juicer attachment or blender attachment, so that you guys could eat the sorbet you want. Maybe some days you want to mix it up. You want to try it this way, you want to try it the other way, and sooner or later you'll figure out, I like this way better, right? And then you can do that way. But once again, the C2 gives you the choice to make and process your food your way. All right, so the final thing I want to show you guys is what happened to that cacao, butter we made literally in the machine with the cacao nibs and the coconut oil. I put it in this little tray here. And now we're just going to go ahead and unfurl it and show you guys after setting up in the freezer for a little bit. Look at that. We have our own chocolate bars made of the Nama C2. 100% cacao nibs with the coconut butter that you saw we made fresh here in this video. Let's go ahead and snap a little piece off. Once again, this is the healthiest chocolate you guys are going to get. No sugar added, and if you did want to add sugar, you could probably mix in some date sugar into this or other natural sweeteners such as maple syrup and then put it in the little bar molds. Once again, link down below to my Amazon shop where you can buy these exact bar molds that I use and have your own sugar-free chocolate. Let's go ahead and try this on camera. Wow. That's actually good for having no sugar. The coconut butter kind of adds a little bit of sweetness without adding the sugar. It's really nice and balanced. Of course, you will want to keep this in the fridge or the freezer. Otherwise, like in the standard air, it may end up melting on you. But man, Isn't the Nama C2 juicer blender combo so cool? It allows you to do a lot more than just make smoothies. Just make juices, or like I've shown before, make raw soups or make cooked soups. Links down below to my videos on that. You could also make nut butter your way. Once again, crunchy or smooth. You can make cacao butter or coconut butter as well. And once again, you can make the sorbets your way, whether you want to do it in the slow juicer, nice and quiet, the high-speed machine with the tamper and do a little bit of extra work and have a lot more loudness, you know, for a more fluffy texture. And of course, make the amazing chocolate bars as well. That's my goal here on YouTube, is to share with you guys all the different ways you guys could use these amazing machines to get more healthy plant-based foods in you. As Nama would say, they want you guys to eat a plant-forward diet, and that is exactly the reason you guys would want to buy the Nama C2. Aside from making all these things, the Nama C2 can do much more with over 70 recipes in the included recipe books, as well as a juicing and blending 101 course. When you buy the C2 that is normally sold for $80 additional, you guys get it all when you guys buy the Nama C2, so that you guys could move forward in eating more healthy plants. If you guys want to save 10% off or $80 off on the Nama C2, make sure to use a coupon code YOURWAY, because with the Nama C2, you get to process the foods your way, because it not only has that juicer attachment with the coarse hole screen as well as the sorbet screen, it also has a full blender attachment with the tamper, so you can make foods your way and process all different kinds of plant foods into delicious goodness, so that you and your family can enjoy, and more importantly, get healthier because of it. Don't forget, use that coupon code YOURWAY, save 10%, but more importantly, guys, when you guys use that coupon code, Nama will share with me a small commission so I can continue to buy my ingredients, make these videos, and share with you guys the information from my 28 years of eating a plant-strong, centered diet, minimally processing my foods and processing them in the best ways possible, so I could share them with you guys, to share with you guys all the amazing things you guys could do with the Nama C2 and all the other appliances that I share on my YouTube channel. So I want to thank you guys in advance who will use that coupon code, because it allows me to pay my editor, pay my video editor, power my light bill, and buy all the ingredients that I use, and more importantly, enables me to, you know, continue my education work. But of course, you guys are also going to save. The biggest discount on the Nama C2 is $80, and that's the deepest discount you're going to get all month. So I want you guys to check out my other videos before you guys buy the Nama C2, including the unboxing video right down below, link in the description, so you guys can learn more about the amazing features and what the Nama C2 comes with and what you could do with this amazing machine. So if you guys enjoyed this episode today, learning all about how to make nut butter and sorbet your way into the Nama C2 juicer, hey, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. More importantly, please be sure to share this video with other people that don't have a juicer, don't have a blender, and want to have a machine that will do it all in their kitchen, so that they could eat a plant-forward diet. Also, be sure to click on the subscribe button right down below so you miss out on my new and upcoming episodes. I'll be coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know what new juicers or appliances I'll be testing, or what new knowledge bombs or what new recipes I'll be sharing with you guys, and I don't want you guys to miss any single episode. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as many videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. I have the most videos on juicing in the Nama J2, which is basically the same as juicing in the Nama C2, as well as I have the most videos on using the Nama C2 in the most fun ways possible, so you guys can eat more plants. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.